Hello. It's the ECOM zone and I'm back with another video. In this video, I'm going to teach you guys how to optimize your ads because that's where all the money's going, right? Your money's going to your ads, they're spending, and you're like, how do I optimize this? Now, most of you guys, when you're starting out, you'll just be in a testing phase for a long time because you're trying to find out that winning formula. And most of your budget will be spent on creating ads and running ads. So the reason why you spend a lot of money on creating ads is because most of the time you have to source UGC content, influencer content, maybe you have to pay someone to create static ads for you. Then you also have to spend money sampling products and sending your products to your influencers or UGC content creators. Now you can actually use AI avatar videos as well. So I know a lot of people use 11 Labs for voice and then VO3 for the videos. So you can experiment with that. Now, when it comes to optimizing your ads and understanding your ads, first is your columns. A lot of you guys are probably just defaulting with the performance column here. So it just has like bid strategy, budget, attribution settings, results. This is irrelevant to us. You really don't need them when you're starting out. What you want to do is customize your own columns down here. So you create your own custom columns. So you can see here, Ecom Zone 2. Let me just shrink this. So with my custom columns, these are all the metrics that you need to look at when you're testing and scaling. So when you're customizing your columns, you click this. And what you want is your delivery, impressions, CPMs, which is the cost per 1,000 impressions. So 1,000 people who watch your videos, your CTR, which is your click-through rate, your CPCs, which is your cost per click, the most important metric there when you're testing. When you're testing your ads, you're trying to aim for a cost per click of around $1 or less. Anything higher than that is going to be very expensive to run your ads unless your AOV is like above $80 or something very high. So AOV stands for your average order value, and let's just say you have like 50 products on your store, just take the average price of all your products. Now your add to carts is very important and you want to leave these unticked. All of these boxes here, you want to leave these unticked. So to just search for that, it's add to cart and it's the total. You do not want the value or the cost, they're irrelevant. So checkouts initiated, same thing. Purchases, same thing. So if you just look at purchase, we can see here purchases total here, and the other two boxes comes down later. Then we need cost per result, your budget, amount spent, your results, purchase ROAS, which is the return on ad spend, and then purchase conversion value so that you can see how much people spend. So if they spent like $60 on your store, then it should show as $60 on Facebook ads. Your quality ranking, which is how Facebook ranks your ads. Frequency is how many times someone's seen your ad. So when you're running top to funnel campaigns or you're testing or scaling even, it should really be 1 to 1.5. It shouldn't be anything higher. 3-second video plays. So whenever you're running video ads, you do need these metrics here. So what I like to do is just search video and you can just click 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you click save. Once you hit save, you'll have all these columns here. Now when you're testing ads, you're not really aiming for sales. You're just trying to find that winning formula, because how do you know what a good ad creative is or ad copy, etc.? So you need to test that out first. So when you're testing at the beginning, you're not aiming for purchases, you're aiming for low cost per click, high CTRs and low CPMs. Now depending on your industry, your CPM varies. So let's just say you're in the beauty niche. One of my subscribers is in the beauty niche. His CPMs right now is around $150 to $200. Which is insane. Look at my CPMs here. £3, guys. Average £3.91. And bear in mind, this is optimizing for purchases. So very cheap. And most of my ads are static ads, and I do run a bit of video ads. So your CPMs, majority of the time, it depends on which industry you're in. Of course, if you have a really, really bad ad, then your CPMs will be higher as well. So yeah, in the beauty niche, very high CPMs. I wouldn't even recommend anyone go down the beauty niche unless you're selling like $100 product or even more. Your CTRs, you kind of want to aim for 2.5% or higher. Like this one here, you see my CTR is very low here, 1.6%, or even this 1.17%. But the benefit is my CPM is so cheap here. So it kind of all balances out. So you can see here 14p cost per click, 19p cost per click. So not too much higher, but to be fair, just because it's 5p higher, in the grand scheme of things, that is quite a bit more. That's like what, 30% more. So yeah, even though it seems cheap, it's actually more expensive, way more expensive. So yeah, that's something to look out for. Now your CPC, you want to aim for anything like below $1. It really depends on your average order value as well as your conversion rate. I'll show you my Shopify analytics later, but you can see my CVR, which is conversion rate, is very low. But that's because my CPC is low. So if your CPC is high, like $2, you should expect your CVR, your conversion rate, to be higher. Mine hovers around 1%. So every 100 visitors, one sale. And for you guys, if you have a cost per click of like $2, then you want like a 4% conversion rate. Add to carts, checkouts, and purchases. Remember guys, my ad account only tracks 40% of my sales. So it's absolutely horrendous. It's very hard for me to see what is working, how to scale and optimize is very, very difficult. Whereas for you guys, it should really be tracking like 80% of your sales. Now, when you start making sales, ideally you will be looking at the cost per result column and your ROAS column as well. Now, let's just say you run your ads tonight for 12 a.m. What you're going to do is give it 2 days. After 2 days have gone by, so 48 hours, you're going to look at your cost per click column. If it's above $1, usually I switch it off, especially if there's no add to carts, checkouts, or purchases, because it's simply too expensive. And that's why I offer my coaching calls, because each funnel, ad account, product, offering is all different. I literally can't make videos for every single scenario because there's too many. Like someone could be in a beauty industry, but they have like wild CPCs, but their AOV is higher. So I give them different advice to someone who's maybe selling jewelry products where their CPMs are like $15 and their CPC is lower. So that's why if you're struggling with Facebook ads, it's actually worth booking a call with me, because it's very hard for me to create a video to help you optimize your metrics when everyone's metrics and funnels different. So my advice in this video is very generic. So like when I say aim for $1 cost per click, well, for me, if I aim for $1 cost per click, then I'll be losing money. For me, I'd be aiming for a 20 cents cost per click. And it all depends on your conversion rates, AOV, etc. So yeah, after 48 hours of running your ads, ideally you want your cost per click below $1. And also by the third day, you should be getting add to carts and checkouts. And if you don't, then there's something wrong with your landing page. If your cost per click is higher than $1, there's something wrong with your ads. Cost per result, very important, is not all about ROAS. The reason being is because your purchase conversion value could be wrong. So if Facebook is tracked 96K for this purchase conversion value for 2,800 sales, but this is incorrect. Let's just say my average order value is around £50, right? So 2830 times 50, it should really be £141,500 instead of 96K. And so then if I divide that by the spend, so my actual ROAS is actually 2.729 instead of 1.86. And this is why it's very important to look at multiple metrics and not just rely on one. And you're only really looking at these metrics when you're scaling up, guys, and when you're getting sales. When you're not getting sales, all you're looking at is your CPCs, your add to carts, your checkouts, and trying to optimize that part of the funnel. Now, if you're running video ads, this here is very important. These metrics here, these video ad metrics. So we got 3-second video plays, your video plays at 25%, etc. And you can see here, video plays is 4,900, which is peanuts. That's why I don't really run video ads. You can tell, look, 4,900 video plays out of 14 million impressions here. So honestly, not that much. Now, when you're optimizing your videos, you're focusing on this average playtime because that's what's most important. If your average playtime is like mine, where it's like 3 seconds long, that means people are only watching for 3 seconds and they're clicking away. Or they're either clicking onto your website or they're swiping away. On average, you want to aim for 7 seconds or more average playtime, because if it's only like 3 seconds or 2 seconds, what's happening is your hook is just not strong enough. So in my case, my hook isn't strong enough because people are watching only 2 seconds and they're swiping. That means the first 2 seconds isn't capturing my audience's engagement. So I do need to improve those video ads there. That's how you optimize your video ads. So if your average play time is below 7 seconds, your CPC is above $1, well, you kind of know that your video ads suck and they need improving. Now, let's head over to my Shopify analytics. So this is another part of the funnel that you need to analyze when you're running ads. It's not just about you're running ads. Let's just say you're running ads and your cost per click is 50 cents, super cheap, and you're optimizing for purchases, but on your analytics side, you're not getting any add to carts, then that's the issue. If you're not getting add to carts, you're not going to get checkouts and you're not going to get purchases. Simple as that. So if your CPC is low, that means your ads are decent, but there's something wrong with your website, especially if you're not getting add to carts. And so you can see here my add to cart rate is 2.81%, and this doesn't track everything, so just like kind of take it with a grain of salt. Like you can see here, completed purchases only 35,900, whereas my orders over time is 89,000. So that's like already less than half. What's that, like 35,919 divided by 89365. So it's only tracking 40% of my sales. I'm honestly, I don't even know what's going on. Everything seemed to be only tracking 40%. So like that means this here would be double. So my add to cart rate ideally is, or theoretically is 5% instead of this 2.81%. And your add to cart rate, you want to aim for 4% or higher. Now again, this depends on your other metrics. If your cost per click is high, like $1.50, then your add to cart rate needs to be way higher. So you can see here, my cost per click is only 14 cents, on average 18p. That means my add to cart rate can be so low, it doesn't matter because I'll still be profitable. If your cost per click is $1.50 and your add to cart rate is only 5%, it's quite low and you need to bump that up. Again, this all depends on your average order value. If your average order value is like $200 and you're making $150 profit on each order, then it doesn't matter if your CVR is only like 1%, because for every one person who buys from your store out of 100 visitors, you're making $150. But we'll go through that in this here as well. So you can see here, add to cart rate is 2.81%, checkout is 2%, and it's usually half of the add to cart rate. So this here would be, let's just say 6%, because this is just not tracking correctly. This will be like 3%, and this will be like 1.5%. And throughout the funnel, it'll cut in half by 50%. Average order value, £48. Now, for you guys, I always suggest a £50 average order value. So you can see mine is like hovering just at £50. Ideally, you want to sell more expensive products, because the higher this average order value, the more flexibility you have when you're scaling ads. So let's just say my average order value is £50. My markup's like 2 or 2.5. I'm not too sure what average is. And let's just say I'm making £30 profit. That means I have £30 to spend on ads to break even, right? And now let's go over to here. You can see my cost per result is around £18, £21, £19. And my break even is £30 per result, right? So when I scale, I have what? £30 take away £18, which is £12 left to scale. A lot of you guys may have like a break even cost per result of £20, and your cost per result is already over that. So you're making a loss, and if you scale any further up, your cost per result will actually go up. It doesn't go down, it actually goes up because you're spending more and it's harder for Facebook to find the right audience. So this one here is like £18, but over time it may creep up to 19 to 20 to 21, etc. Like this here at the beginning could have been £15, but over time it went up to £18.32. So you do have to keep that in mind. And that's why average order value and the amount of profit you make per sale is very, very important. The higher, the better, guys. So how do you work out your break-even ROAS? So let's just say your average order value is £50 here, right? And your cost of goods on AliExpress is £18 and your shipping costs £2. Now let's just say you're shipping to the US, UK, Canada, Australia, etc. You just want to take the average number and then plug them into this formula here. So what you're doing here is your average order value divided by this group here. So it'll be $50, take away $18, take away $2, which is what, $30? So it'll be 50 divided by 30, which gives us a break-even ROAS of 1.66. So 1.66, therefore if ROAS is higher than 1.66, I'm making a profit. Now in your case, most of the time I see people selling stuff for like $30 and maybe they're buying it for like 14, their shipping is 2. So let's just say it's 30, 14, 2, what's that? So it'll be 30 divided by 30, take away 16, which is 14. So your break-even ROAS is 2.14, terrible. So that means your ads need to be higher than 2.14 ROAS for you to make a profit. That is horrendous. Ideally, you want this to be $70, and this will be $70, $20, take away 2, so it'll be 70 divided by, what is it, 70 take away 20, take away 2, like 48, is that? Yeah, 48. So that means your break-even ROAS is 1.45. So therefore, if your ROAS is higher than 1.45, you make a profit. And that is if your average order value is $70, and that is if your cost per click, cost of goods is $20. So that's how you work out your break-even ROAS. Is a very important metric when you're testing and scaling or running ads even. So down here, we also have another calculator. Now let's just say your cost per click is $1. That means your cost is $100 for 100 visitors. Now let's just say your cost per click is £1.50. That means you're paying $150 for 100 visitors. So this cost here is for 100 visitors to your website. Now let's just say your average order value is $50 and you profit per order $30. Now to work out our conversion rate to cover this cost, we need to do the cost divided by our profit, so it's 5. So we need 5 sales for every 100 visitors to break. This is just to break even, guys, not even to profit. So if your purchase rate is 5%, that is very high. It's almost impossible and unheard of. And that's why this is terrible metrics. You don't want this. Well, ideally, what you want is something like this. Let me bring another example here. So let's just say my one's 0.5, right, or 0.3. That means the cost for 100 visitors is $30. My average order value is $60 or 70, and my profit is 30. Let's see, cost divided by profit is 1% conversion rate. So as long as I have a conversion rate of 1%, so every 1% of 100 visitors buys my product, then I'm profitable, or breaking even actually. I kind of need an extra sale for every like 100 visitors. And so yeah, so you could just plug these numbers into your own like calculator or whatever. Let's just say your CPC is like $2. That means your cost for 100 visitors is 200, right? And let's just say your average order value is 70, your profit is 40. That would mean 200 divided by 40 is 5. So you need a 5% conversion rate. And to get a 5% conversion rate, that means your checkout rate will have to be 10%, right? And then your add to cart rate would have to be 20%. Remember, it gets cut in half every part of the funnel. So add to cart, to checkout, to purchase. Now I have videos on like how to boost your conversion rates, how to optimize your ads and stuff like that. But ideally, you do want to just book a call in with me. If you're just wasting money on ads, you don't know what you're doing, because my videos can only do so much before you actually need to speak to me personally, and then I could go through your entire funnel, your metrics, and tell you where exactly you're going wrong. So yeah, that's it guys. I hope you found this video valuable. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel for more content, and peace.